Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with Miss White Oak. My name is Victoria Graham and today I am so excited. As you know, May is my favorite month of the year, and that's because it is Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome Awareness Month. Today I have the fantastic opportunity to interview a young woman all the way across the country, but as someone who has been making headlines worldwide. So, here we go.
My name is Cheyenne Adele Rose. I'm 21 years old, and I'm originally from the Napa Valley, but I now live in Orange County, California.
For people who don't know, can you kind of explain a little bit about what's been going on with you over the past couple weeks?
About 6 months ago, I posted The Story of a Broken Dancer, is what I called it, and it was the story of my dancing and how I've been dancing since I was 3 years old. It's all I've ever wanted to do in my life, but I've been plagued by mysterious injuries and illnesses, and we didn't really know why. We just thought I was really clumsy and really breakable, but I just kind of kept going. But after I posted that, I got messages from like dozens of people saying that, oh, I should look into this disease and this disease, because everyone on the internet's a doctor. But one I got overwhelmingly was Ehlers-Danlos, and I started looking it up and doing some research, and I thought, hey, 24 people tell me I should look at this, it's probably a valid thing to do. And so I went and I looked into it, and I got tested at the UCLA genetics department, and I was confirmed to have EDS on May 11th, 2016, so just over a week ago now.
Well, I mean, I want to say congratulations, but it's obviously not a good thing. Nobody wants to be told you have this disease. For you, was it relieving? Was it a good thing in your eyes?
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, because I've been a very physically active person my whole life. I've been dancing my entire life. I used to play soccer as well. I played softball growing up. I loved to be outside, and especially being a dancer, there's certain things that do them, and it just hurt. And I was like, why the heck am I hurting? This isn't supposed to hurt. I have friends that are doing the exact same thing. No one else is in the pain that I am. And I mean, even over the last year, I was doing a dance that I was blacking out during.
Oh
I didn't understand why. And it was the most terrifying thing in the world, because it felt like someone was driving an ice pick through the back of my head. It was just like the most intense pain, and I could not figure out why. No doctors could tell me why. I went to neurologists, neurosurgeons. They were like, your brain looks fine. It's nothing. It must be your head. But I knew it wasn't in my head. There was no way that I thought my body could have been this. And so when they told me I had EDS, it just kind of was like I just could breathe for a second. I was like, oh my God. I finally have a reason. I'm not crazy. It's not just all in my head. There's an actual genetic condition that's making me be in constant pain. It's not that I'm a wimp or anything. It's actually that my body's just not structurally sound.
To people who are kind of going through the same thing that you were, what would you say to someone who has EDS or not, just is being written off by doctors, is not being believed? What would you say to them?
Believe yourself.
I like that.
A bunch of other people can tell you, it's this or it's not this, but you know yourself better than anybody else does. You know how you feel, you know what hurts, you know what doesn't, and if they're wrong, they're wrong. That's the thing about doctors, is that not every doctor knows about EDS, not every doctor knows about Chiari. I mean, there have been doctors that I've gone to that I've had to explain what Chiari is, what EDS is. You can have once you have so many people telling you you're wrong, you start to believe it. And you start to believe that you're crazy. You start to believe that, I can't even tell you how many times I've thought, is this all in my head? Is my pain in my head? Why can't I figure this out? But I didn't stop believing myself. And that's, I think, the thing that got me through this, is that I knew how I felt, and I wasn't going to let other people tell me that I was wrong.
How did it make you feel when people were just reaching out to you who you didn't even know?
I mean, God, it was amazing, because the whole reason that I posted my story to Imgur in the first place was because when I was going through my hip surgeries, I was 17 years old. I was a dancer that was confined to a wheelchair, and it was absolutely terrifying. I mean, I didn't know if I was ever going to walk again, let alone dance. I mean, I was in constant pain. The only thing, I have pictures of me in my math class lying in the back of the classroom, and the desks are parted in the middle, so I could still see the board.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't sit. wanted so badly to have that pressure on my hips.
Oh my gosh.
So during that time, I went on Instagram and I typed in the hashtag for my surgery just to see if there was anything else out there. And I found stories of dancers and athletes and gymnasts that had gone through the same thing as me, and they were okay. And it just, like, it made me not afraid to, like, take on the next challenge of my life, which was going to be physical therapy, which was going to see if I could dance again. And so that's why I posted it, because I thought, hey, if someone else is going through this, maybe I can help them, you know, by really, like, having my story, because that's what it did for me. And to have so many people, I mean, just to have so many people like my post, I mean, the original post had over, like, 80,000 views.
Oh my gosh. And
just to have that have so much, like, I don't know, so much weight to it.
So much impact.
Yeah, and there were, like, hundreds of people that were favoriting the post, and it baffled me that many people liked my story, and the fact that they were willing to reach out to someone that they didn't know to try to help them. It really showed, I think, the beauty of humanity, how, you know, humans, you know, we can be horrible, this can be a weird, kind of messed up world we're in, but when it comes down to it, the root of human being is love and caring for another person, and that's how I felt so much love from hundreds of strangers, which is the craziest thing.
Sometimes when people are diagnosed, it stunts them. What do you see for yourself? Do you see yourself continuing kind of like you've been on, or do you see yourself taking a change?
I mean, it's scary, the thought of, you know, because the thing about EDS is that we don't know the progression. It's different for every single person, so it could get much worse for me in my lifetime because of how active I've been. It could stay exactly the same. Nothing could change, and I don't know. And so at that point, of course, the first thing I wonder is, you know, am I going to keep dancing? Because it's all I've ever done. It's all I've ever wanted to do. And it terrifies me to think that I won't, because it's, you know, it's my entire life. It's what I've wanted to do since I was 3 years old. And, you know, I've thought about it. And as of right now, I don't see myself stopping dancing, but I do see myself doing more than that. I rescue and rehabilitate animals, and I've always wanted to save cats, like save big cats. That's really something I want to do with my life, is save tigers and work to repopulate the tiger population and things like that. And so I've been thinking about that and that drive I have, and I've been wanting to now put it towards EDS, because my best friend in the whole world, his name is Grant Jeffco, and he and his two younger brothers also have an incurable genetic disease. But theirs is much more debilitating than ours is. It's called adrenoleukodystrophy. It's the form of Lou Gehrig's disease. And the two older brothers, my best friend and his middle brother Wyatt, they look fine. They have this disease that's, you know, in their brain. It's a genetic malformation that's just waiting to turn. And the second it transitions, that's when they'll start hitting the point that their youngest brother has. And they have medical bracelets and everything, but they look absolutely fine right now. And we always tell people, you know, we'll talk about it. When I first got diagnosed, I called my best friend, and, you know, he said something to me that was just so sweet. He said, I guess we're rare together. Because that's what we are. It's like, they're very rare diseases. And it just really hit me that now, like, I have been going through this with him, and then I've always, like, tried to help with that. I've always tried to, you know, be kind of their spokesperson and their advocate. And now that I'm in somewhat of the same position, it just makes me want to stand up and yell even louder.
If you could say something to people about having an invisible illness and what it's like and what we go through, what sort of things would you tell them?
I would say that it's soul-shattering, because that's really what it is. It's looking in the mirror every single day and going, all right, you know, I'm tall, I'm, you know, in shape, I have a good life, I have a great family, but I am dealing with this that no one knows about, and it's honestly horrible. Like, when I was still in high school, I was in a competitive jazz choir, and we were competing at Disneyland, and I was there, and I couldn't walk. I could not walk that much, and so I was in a wheelchair. I had a medical note to be in a wheelchair, and the looks that I got from people when we were rolling around, because of the fact that I am, 5'10", I'm fit, I don't have a cast, I don't have anything, I look absolutely fine. People looked at me like I was the worst person in the world, and I just wanted to scream at them, even at that point that I didn't know. I was like, this is not my fault. I'm not here to try to, reap the benefits of being handicapped. That's not what I want. Trust me, if I could, oh my God, if I could not have it this way, I would. And that's kind of how I feel every single day, is that it looks fine, but it's one of the most painful things in the world. It's a whole nother pain knowing that there's no cure, that there's no way to fix it, that this is something you're stuck with your entire life, and that you're going to either have to choose to fight or honestly give up.
I guess my question for you is, I know you've been diagnosed for a week, but you've seen it with your friend, and I guess maybe you're kind of seeing it with yourself. When you don't know what the future holds, what does that make you want to do now?
It makes me want to live every day like it's my last.
As far as the future of EDS as a disease, as a syndrome as a whole, what do you see for the future of it? And do you see yourself having a role in whatever future it brings?
I mean, I would love to have a role in whatever future it brings. And so for the future of EDS, I mean, of course, I hope that it becomes more well-known. And I hope that even through my story right now, it is becoming more well-known. People, even that post on the Daily Dot, that's had over, I think, 3,000 likes on it, over 1,000 shares. And, I mean, that's 4,000 more people seeing my story, and who knows where it went from there. And so even in my pictures, it's like you said, I look fine. And I just hope it brings awareness that, every single person you see on the street, whether it's, the cashier at Target, whether it's, the guy at the crosswalk, whether it's the bus driver, everyone is dealing with their own personal hell. And even though someone looks absolutely fine, it could be something like this. It could be EDS, it could be ALD, it could be Crohn's, it could be something, mental. It could be that their family just died, but they have to go to work. Every single person who looks fine is going through their own personal hell. And I would love, if I have the opportunity, I would love to become more of a voice for EDS because of the fact that I do love speaking in front of people. I do love having that. That's my major. And I'd love to use that in a way to bring more awareness about it, to be able to stand up and be like, hey, I went through this, we went through this, we have all gone through this, and here we are, here's our little pack of zebras, we're just hanging out here wanting you guys to see us,
I think it's really cool, the platform that you have now. Even, I know it's 21 years of life, seems like a long time, and you're only a week into having a name for what you've had it for 21 years, but you have a name for it now, and a reason, and kind of like backup in a way, and I'm really excited to see, I guess, your journey, and where you take it.
I have to, kind of take it with a smile, because that's what I've always done, and my mom is my entire world. She has been through with me every step of the way through this journey of my entire life. And when I was having hip surgery, people asked me what my happiest memory is, and I tell them that one of my happiest memories is also one of my scariest, is because it was when I was going into surgery. And it was because I had my mom there. I mean, she has helped me through every single problem I've ever had, and she's never doubted me. She's never thought that my pain wasn't real or that I was faking it, even at times when I thought maybe I was, because I didn't know. People keep asking me, they're like, how are you dealing with all this? How can you keep smiling? And I'm like, I don't really, I have a choice, but the
alternative.
There's two choices. There's either try to make the best of it, take it as I can, become this social media platform that maybe gives people help, or I can hide in my room, I can curl up in a ball with my animals, and I can cry. And there have been nights where I've done that. I'm not going to lie. I was on the phone with my dad the other night when I was having a really hard night, and he told me, the sentence he said just made me start sobbing, and that sentence was, it's okay to cry. Because sometimes when you're being so strong, when you're fighting for yourself and even fighting for all these other people, you forget sometimes that it's okay to cry. It's okay to have that day where you're just in a ball in your room and I'll cry because it is hard.
Yeah.
And, you can't, while I am being super upbeat about this and, smiling and getting through this and fighting every single day, that doesn't mean that I don't take it as it is, because it is a really hard thing that we have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just the most important thing for me right now is, even though I am fighting with a smile,
mm-hmm.
I have to keep reminding myself that it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
It's okay to, have these feelings, because
mm-hmm.
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I think it's so important to recognize that, to recognize that not only do we hurt, not only does this stuff actually exist, not only does our joints dislocate and all of our collagen falling apart, but it hurts. And it's there's nothing wrong with recognizing that. What is wrong is letting that consume your entire life, because it's not easy to be, I don't want to say branded with Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, but
it almost is a brand, though.
Mm-hmm. When you're talking about a medical disability and the stigma associated with a disability and a handicap, and there's so much negative connotations that come with it. You were just diagnosed with this disease and you're trying to make a change. I think the way that you're facing it and the things that you're doing is, it's huge. And it speaks volumes about your personality and who you are. And I really admire that, and I'm inspired by it.
I can't even describe how nice it's been being able to talk to you about this and having you actually, want to fight for it as well. That's what I want to do, is I want to fight. I don't want to just sit here and wither away. I want to fight.